Welcome to Electrepreneur Secrets, the Electrician podcast. We're here to help you master sales, simplify pricing, and deliver premium level service. As always, we cut out all the fancy shit. There's no pre-recorded intro. There's just me and my partner, Joseph, the sales bot, Lucani, here to serve you guys at the highest level 5 days a week, hoping that you'll do the same for your clients and for your staff. Joseph, we got a great little show planned today talking about intrapreneurs. What the hell is an intrapreneur? Why do we keep making up these terms, right? We've got electricpreneurs now, electrician entrepreneurs. Believe it or not, there's also a level above that. We call them on the inside extrapreneurs, people who really trying to go vertical to CEO, want to run a business and have that well-oiled machine, pass the fishing test, right? Be able to sit back. How long are we going fishing for? I don't know, weeks, a month. The business keeps going productively. But today I really wanted to focus on intrapreneur. Rather, we wanted to focus on the intrapreneur. What the hell is it? Why do we need this term? And as you might guess, it's more the entrepreneur that sits on the inside of your business. Did you at any point in your career feel like you were a big catalyst to the companies you worked for, helping them grow on the inside and maybe at times even leading from the inside?
So when I worked for that first company, remember how I had set up where I couldn't sell worth a damn, and they took the time to invest in me and I was learning sales training. That year, I ended up producing 800,000 in sales just from generators in the first year. And the thing is that I truly believed before I met my former partner, I truly believed that this was the company I was going to come in and die in. I was going to hang my hat on it. So I was hyper invested in everything they were doing. So I did consider myself an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, some people are like, what is an entrepreneur? Like, what do they actually do? So do you mind if I kind of just dive right into it?
Let's go back and forth.
All right. So for everyone listening, we already know an electropreneur is an electrician who is physically going and running their own business. An extrapreneur is someone who's going above and beyond to truly try to grow, and maybe they're taking on other ventures in addition to their electrical business. But an entrepreneur is not something that is often talked about, but it's so common. It's almost insane that we don't talk about it more. An entrepreneur is someone who is currently working for someone. They're already an employee. It's someone who could be like, I'm a subcontractor, but they themselves run their own department. So imagine someone who's like, you know what? I have an inside salesperson. He works for me, but the guy just closes consistently. That's all he does. He just comes in a day and sells. Or you've got someone who's like, you know what? I'm just going to be an installer. I'm going to be a service tech, and I'm going to be the best damn one I can be. The entrepreneur is the kind of person that says, what can I do to leverage the skills and knowledges that I have right now to provide the maximum value to the company I'm working for so that I'm as retainable, as employable, and as scalable as I can possibly be. Yeah. So you can have all the benefits of running a business without actually having to run a business.
Exactly, with less hats, right? And we're going to touch on this from a couple angles, because your next all-star could be one of the 80% that's likely to fail in business in the next year or 2 or 3. 80% fail, right? But I'm pretty sure like 90% of electricians try to run their own shit at some point, whether it's just moonlighting or it's a full-blown, full-time effort. And we get a lot of these people reaching out, these ambitious, want to become electricpreneurs. And so this is where we place you guys, if you're listening to this now, in the intrapreneur category. And that's perfect. Intrapreneur is a fantastic place to learn. In fact, if you ask some of the OGs in the service industry, you know, how do I learn? How do I break out in home service? Working for a bigger contractor that's already doing it could be one of your biggest breaks, because that training's there, right? Because that development potential and the strings already laid out for you to just hang on and get pulled down.
In addition to it,
of learning and growth, right?
Yeah. And I was going to say, in addition to it, it also solves one of the major fears of people when they want to start their own business. Like how many people reach out to us on a regular basis and they're like, I want to start my own business, but I don't know how to do the insurance, or I don't know the licensing requirements, or I don't know the marketing. And they're like, I'm a damn good electrician, and I can close, but I don't know anything about the operating of a business. And that's still okay, because those things can be taught. And a lot of times these people have the right kind of character, and with the right kind of skill, you can still be incredibly employable. So setting yourself up with a good service provider you're already working with is definitely the right key. You have my full agreement on that.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got testimonies on the inside that have said the very same thing. Like, if you could start over, what would you do
Mhm.
different? And a lot of times that answer is like, have a CPA on my side immediately, right?
Mhm.
Chartered professional accountant, and work in a better practice group.
Mhm.
That's why even in our group, we created an intrapreneur level, that bronze tier package for that better practice group, for the entrepreneurs who are in the middle somewhere. They're not quite committed, or maybe they have a business, but it's part-time, or any of the
Mhm.
situations we described can fit. But here's the thing. Just because you're not out on your own doesn't mean you don't have ambition. Just
Mhm.
because you're not out on your own doesn't mean there isn't performance pay, some form of commission relationship on your wages, or at least the
Mm.
potential for some that could be adding extreme value to your pockets and your person, right?
Mhm.
So I shared this in my interview on Friday, which was actually just released in the podcast, I think yesterday, Monday. But
Mhm.
one of my mentors said to me one time, we're driving to site, and he said, Clay, is it unreasonable to think that I would pay you $1 million a year for the work you do here? And I kind of chuckled. No one's asked me that before. It was an
Mhm.
unorthodox question, but it was thought provoking nonetheless. And my response was, haha, right? I'm talking to one of the owners. This guy signs checks, and he's luring me with something like this. But
Mhm.
what he said next changed my view on the whole thing. And our late great mentor Jim Rohn talks about it. You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you put in the hour. And so, as my
Exactly.
mentor Shane said, look, if you brought me 2 million in business, is it so wrong to think that I would pay you 1 million for the year?
And it
No.
wouldn't be unreasonable. I mean, like, how many technicians out there are like, you know what? You put me on any job and I can get the job done. You airdrop me into any problem, I'll get this one done. You need the sale closed, I'm your guy. Or whatever it is, they're able to operate a division of your company smoothly without having to have you constantly outsource it or dedicate it to other divisions. If you are that kind of person, then this level really would be for you. And there's a lot of benefits to doing so.
Yeah. We really don't discriminate. If you guys don't know this already, on the inside, like Service Loop Electrical, us, I mean, we do this full time.
Mhm.
This is our full-time job. So last week I literally met with two people who weren't even in business for themselves yet. One was an
Mhm.
electrical engineer, which I thought was a really interesting take, and I enjoyed exploring the potential there, right? And another
Mhm.
was someone working in the field for someone else, still running projects with 6 to 8 people under him. Totally okay. We still enjoy these calls, and we still enjoy the guidance. And there's
Mhm.
still value in being part of a better practice group to help blossom that and be able to ask those questions, get those answers from a group of people instead of having to do everything on your own. It's
Exactly.
super powerful. I also want to introduce something, unless I'm leaving you short on that one.
Go for it, dude. I was gonna say I enjoy the conversations we have regardless. So, well, if we don't talk about this, we'll talk about something else.
Yeah, and Brian says in the group, guys, if you're not in the Facebook group, join us there. Facebook group, Electripreneur Secrets, the Electrician podcast group. Brian's saying, don't pay me for my time, pay me for my experience, which is a good tie-in
Mm.
too, and your knowledge and your process, right?
Mhm.
These things all add up. So imagine this, because I think a lot of people get it twisted, and I don't want it to come across that we're trying to lure everyone into becoming their own business. I don't think that's necessary. In
Not at
fact,
all.
if you look at the landscape and look at the numbers, because there's such a shortage of electricians and so many electrical companies opening up, like every day, there's 100 or more being opened in the United States alone,
Mhm.
right? That's crazy. You could be actually at an advantage to go intrapreneur first and try that route. You could be at an advantage to go shopping for all these contractors that aren't quite there yet and take your new skills, your track record, and ask for a seat at the table. And if I'm a
Mhm.
struggling electric business and I have no ability to recruit, I'm going to strongly consider that seat.
And if I can kind of almost put a spin on it,
Yeah, do it.
let's just say it was you or I in that situation, right? And I'm speaking to all the business owners out there. Let's say you're on a commercial division and someone like Clay shows up and says, you know what? You can hire me and I can run this whole division. I'll get projects. I am the conduit king. I get things done. You don't have to stress about it. I need X dollars a year. Give me 10% of what I'm going to make you.
Yeah.
That's a no brainer. That is an absolute, I mean, you'd be making $1 million a year, but at the same time, it'd be a no brainer offer for the business owner. Because the concept is, it's like, hey, if I give you 10,000, can I get 100,000? It's like, yeah, I'll take that deal every single time. Or you have someone like me where you show up and they're like, we're great at doing the work, but we just can't close. And you have someone who shows up and is like, hey, I have a process. I'll teach all your guys the process and I'm consistently at 80% close. You'd be like, yeah, I'll bring you on too. Let's go. So even these high performing people can still be extremely successful if they don't have to open their own shop. You can be just as lucratively living if you can find a way to position yourself where you're using your skills in the companies you're already at.
Definitely. And if I were someone that came through and said, took a program like ours, had the process, developed that, and was able to work on that with someone else's clientele, sure, I'm reaping less reward, but the risk is not there. There's no startup cost. There's no time. You could be seeing bigger tickets in weeks, and your partner or boss or whatever that organization you're in will be going, what happened here? Right?
Yep.
What happened? What's the difference? That's the reality. There is absolutely no shortage of opportunity for electricians today.
It's one of those things where I heard it the other day and it really stuck out. And it's almost a contradictory statement. It's electricians are essential workers. Like you need us to maintain the country's infrastructure. But at the same time, we are so devalued by the clients that we're serving because we struggle to communicate that value. Doesn't mean we're any less valuable. In fact, we're probably more valuable than even we're communicating. So the goal here is if you're struggling to find value, it's very possible you're looking in the wrong place. My advisement to this situation is you don't have to leave the companies you're at. They could be phenomenal companies that treat you well. But always keep in mind that if you don't feel fully satisfied or don't feel fully appreciated, there are so many electricians looking for top players right now.
Yeah, totally. Now I want to make sure we're speaking to the biggest audience we can today. So let's address the Electrepreneurs with this too. Is it really that outlandish to think that there's an entrepreneur out there for you in your business?
I completely disagree. I mean, in fact, I hired one. And let me explain why. So we had a guy, right? Think about it. Every one of us are told we need to do painting. We need to do painting. We need to do spackling, right? And the thing is everyone knows hiring a painter, it's a lot of money. It's consistent and it's hard to manage their schedules. So what we did is we brought on someone who had a painting company. He was able to close it down and he worked for us and we trained him to do electric work. So an entrepreneur was in the business, able to do the painting jobs without us having to sub it out. He was getting consistent work, didn't have to market, didn't have to worry about anything. The checks just came in, the work orders kept rolling up. And for us, we were great because we didn't have to worry about subbing it out all the time. So we could make sure the quality and the reliability and the service was there. So in every opportunity, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a landscaper, a plumber, you can hire so many divisions on and create others just out of entrepreneurs.
100%. And going more specific to electricians even again, like really think about this. There's only three places that your all-stars are currently. Either they're not ready yet, put the buns back in the oven. It's timeable, not teachable, right? Help them fulfill their base needs and that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Make sure they've got the air, water, food, shelter, all the stuff we talk about. Reproductive rights are okay, right? Make sure they've got safety and security. So once they start earning and they're consistently earning and have some financial clarity, that second stage fills. And then the love and connection, level 3. So making sure that they're connected, they're included in your company. And all of a sudden you could have a star born. like Lady Gag and Brad Cooper here. A Star is Born, right? That's how we bring people up, but that's just one way. Okay, now keep in mind, that's a slow cooking oven.
Mhm.
Where are those kind of people? Let's just talk about it quick. Where are they?
So I found a lot of adventure in going and recruiting out of trade schools. The reason being is that if you think about it, like imagine getting the head of someone who's 18 years old, right? They've gone through 2 years of trade school. They know just enough to be an employable apprentice. You can send them for a Romex connector and they're not going to bring back a BX connector, right? They know just enough, but they want to grow. They're eager. They're trying to cut their teeth. They're trying to improve. And the biggest argument that they're saying is no one's hiring. So wouldn't it be better to go to the place where they're already training them for you? They're fresh out the gate, so you don't have to make them unlearn all the toxic traits. And if nothing else, you're doing a community service by doing education at that. So it's not only marketing your business, it's allowing you to have future growth and employ future top talent.
Totally.
So why aren't we doing it?
Yeah. Take a page from the sports book, right? How do you
Mhm.
find the next all-stars? Literally. There's drafting agents that go and watch in the minors. You're playing a long game. Wouldn't it be beneficial to have reports on that class of students
Mhm.
and go and assist and then take notes on each student and look for them later? Check in on them later, right? Drip on them.
That's
That's
gonna be
just
an
one
amazing
of the
thing.
places these all-stars come from. That's not quite entrepreneur level though. What I really wanted to hone in on is one of the places they're already working for someone else or they're already
Mhm.
working for themselves. And those are the people that you can capitalize on. But in your marketing efforts, in your networking efforts, do you have any focus on knowing those people and getting them to know you and dripping on them how great a place it is to work for with you?
It's an interesting thing you say because a lot of us will tell our clients how good of the work we do, but how often are we advertising how good it is to work for us?
Hmm.
And you think to yourself, wouldn't the client also want to know that they're hiring someone that's happy doing their job?
Yeah.
So the same campaigns. I mean, in fact, actually, one reason that I got recruited out of IBM to join this HVAC company was they were advertising. They actually made like groups saying, we have so much work, we need to hire new techs. It was a marketing ploy. It was during the time when the recession was happening and no one was hiring. And they were like, we have so much work. They got customers calling them and they had potential prospects calling them. Why aren't we doing the same thing?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And we're going to go right into a full on recruiting episode. So we better leave that one right there.
All right.
As far as, is there advancement for entrepreneurs? Yes, we're checking that box. Absolutely. And you don't need to go far to do it, right? Is there purpose in this for electropreneurs to hire entrepreneurs? Absolutely.
Mhm.
We should be finding those people and growing within. And the biggest argument you see is, well, I don't want to teach someone how to be my competitor. We have to look at the numbers.
Mhm.
You have to respect people's journeys. Regardless of your input, an all-star is going to rise and they're going to become what they're set to become. Your choice is they can do that with you and you have that relationship and that opportunity to keep them at Entrepreneur. Not saying it's a hold point,
Mhm.
but if you make it easy enough, right? It's great, but easy enough, then I never want to leave.
Yeah, I heard a quote that stood out, and I feel like it rings true in this. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but the thought is you treat your employees well enough that they can leave, but you treat them well enough so that they won't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept is like, I'm willing to train you to be my replacement. Like, I'm willing to train you that you'd be so good at what you do, you could up and leave and start your own company. But I'm going to treat you with a level of dignity and respect that you're not going to find anywhere else. And by me having to take all the risks, you can live a very comfortable life in your own lane.
Yeah. I love that. It's really important to recognize, right? At the end of the day, I mean, we've talked about this, but you take care of your staff take care of your clients take care of the business takes care of you,
Amen to that.
right?
Reminds me of a post.
That circle just shortens a bit if you're an entrepreneur. You just take care of your customers and your company takes care of you. You don't
Mhm.
have to take care of staff. You don't have to worry about that stuff. No accounting, no invoicing, right? No follow-ups even, but you could. It'd be better if you did.
Yep.
Remarkable opportunity. Okay. So we stretched this one about 20 minutes. We've been going through this. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on? I guess we were talking about pay, performance pay
Mm.
before, but that could be a whole episode. So there's no rush in
Yeah.
that. Was there
I
anything
would
else you
say
wanted to drop in here, Joseph?
realistically, I mean, there's so much we can add. So to keep it concise, I would say for anyone who's considering being an entrepreneur, that's a great place to be. So many of us feel like the only way to live a lucrative lifestyle is to start your own business, to go out on your own, to just cut your teeth, and that's that. And I want to let you know that that's not always the way it can be. Think of, let's say, Amazon. You got Jeff Bezos, guy runs a company, richest guy in the world. But do you think his number two is poor? It's like, no. Probably everyone underneath this guy is just as capable of running their own company, but they don't. They work for Amazon. So the thought process is you can be really good at what you do and you can still make an amazing income. Just make sure you're aligning yourselves with companies that are going to recognize and foster your growth. And as long as you do that, you'll always have a path forward.
I love that. I do. So, action items. I do want to throw this out there, guys.
Mhm.
If you're considering this entrepreneur tour or talking about going out on your own, feel free to shoot us a DM, comment,
Mhm.
engage in the Facebook group, let us know. We actually do free half-hour discovery calls with anyone who wants to discuss it. So you can
Mhm.
absolutely reach out in the Facebook group and secure one of those. Very simple for those that have. They know all about this, and we promise to always leave people better than we found them.
Mhm.
But what would be the all-star action here for an entrepreneur listening to this today?
The all-star action takes it a little bit farther. Like, obviously, the bare minimum action is if you want to learn about this, book a call and we'll tell you more. The all-star action is you book the call, you already got the value pieces, you have actionable assignments now. The superstar action is take action on the knowledge. You could hoard all the information and sleep on it like you're a dragon on his hoard. But if you don't do anything with it, it's just garbage. It doesn't do anything for you. So if you truly want to see the next level of success, take the advice, but then put it into play. Run the play. Even if you don't do it right the first time, keep trying it. It will lead you off better than if you went in blind.
Yeah, I love that. And we got plenty of whims to show for that exact thing. So, guys, taking action, that's all we want for you. We're here 5 days a week to help you master sales, simplify pricing, and deliver premium level service. I'm Clay Newmeyer. As always, my esteemed co host, Joseph Lucani. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.